Oh, hello there. Yes, well, now I want to see some history because I got a reasonable economy. Yes, still a great album. It still resonates with me a great deal. Anyway, today we're once again to talk about teaching and history in schools and the dreadfulness of the right-wing media and the pointlessness of what they're saying as well, which I guess is pretty much everything I say, but why spoil a bad thing or a good thing? Or something. Anyway, moving on, yes, because yesterday we had sort of people wailing and gnashing teeth and tearing hair out and beating breasts and other sort of Egyptian funeral rituals about the social services attitude, which suggested that people feel less pride, whatever that is, in their country and less British than they did about 10 years ago. And of course, that can't be the fault of anything other than me. Okay, so as a teacher, it's entirely my fault, according to, well, basically the media. It must be, because there is no other narrative allowed. I'll come on to that at the end. Anyway, so we have the kind of usual suspects that were out there. Talking tosh. So let's look at them talking tosh. So on GB News we had Matt Goodwin, who will never pass up the opportunity to talk tosh. I imagine it's making him quite personally rich, which is good. So here he goes. The way that we teach children in the West about history only goes one way. At its roots, it's anti-Western and anti-British. Okay, well, we'll come back to that again. He believes that Western and British history is taught lopsided, whatever that means, after a survey revealed a steep drop in national pride over the last 10 years. Yes, so he then went on to say something very odd, which I thought was, well, I thought it was odd anyway. We're quite bad at talking about Britishness, said Matt. No, Matt, we're very good at talking about Britishness. The problem is that you don't know what it means, along with the rest of the media. So you end up tying yourself in knots about spurious notions. It's like trying to draw an accurate picture of an infinite noun or an indescript noun. Yeah, like love. Yeah, you always end up with a heart. But what's it mean exactly? What does it mean? We don't know. Anyway, there's something incredibly unique. Well, no, unique things are just unique. You can't have 25 unique things, can you? And special about coming from these islands. Okay, and calls for more celebration of British history. Our survey finds a steep drop in national pride. Okay, possibly. I'm not convinced about that, though. I don't think... I mean, personally, I'm standing behind a big flag, and I've got other flags around me, and I've got loads of other flag things around me in the room. I'm very proud of where I come from, if you like, because I think the history that I come from is, well, a true one that is based in reality, that word always again, which I don't have any problems with, because although it's messy and bloody, it leads us to where we are, which is quite a positive place, in the sense that people don't die of scurvy anymore. Anyway, we had Talk TV, and they managed to find a token young Tory, allegedly the tokenist, youngest, Toryist councillor in the UK. There's Harrison, who oddly enough went to independent school. Well, blow me down with a feather. If you want to have a bit of a laugh, you can listen to him talking. Anyway, he was complaining bitterly at the independent, he means private, school that he went to. They were all raving socialists as teachers. I doubt very much if they were, to be quite honest. What he means is they were more left-wing than he'd like them to be, but tough, that's what you get with teachers. Unfortunately, when you educate people, they do tend to, end up as being left-wing, because, as the old saying goes, reality is left-wing. Anyway, we get the inevitable ridiculousness from anti-communists like Nigel Farage. Marxist ideology that hates our country has won. Yes, indeed. You see, that's what I do. I stand in front of, well, my pupils, be they collectively or singular, and I do inform them that their country is rubbish. That's all I ever do, isn't it? Yeah, not GCSEs, and again, we'll come back to that. The Telegraph inevitably went for this cartoon, which is definitely doing the rounds. Pride in British history is collapsing. We all know the reason why. We've been far too complacent about patriotism. We ought to have a national day to celebrate our country. Yes, you see, it is indubitably my fault. But let's actually think about this in terms of reality. Well, first of all, Okay, I was thinking of, in particular, one of the units that I regularly teach, AQA History, as part of the history syllabus, Power to the People, which is all about the growth of democracy in the UK, 14 to 16. And yes, it doesn't sort of state categorically about how brilliantly wonderful everything was all the time, how brilliant, aren't we wonderful, and we were incredibly unique, just to use that awful phrase, of Matt Goodwin's. No, what it is a textbook, and it presents in the way that you'd expect to reasonably capable human beings that there are two sides to every story. In other words, it presents history as a series of complicated things that you need to think about and rationalise, not simply grabbing hold of a flag and weeping because somebody suggests that something was wrong 200 years ago. And at heart, this is the problem with these people. Right, okay, they don't really know what British means, they certainly don't know what English means, and they cannot describe their own sense of national self-worth in any tangible form. Again, it goes back to that kind of indistinct noun notion, in the sense that what exactly is Britishness? I know that I am very English, but I cannot, specifically speaking, categorise what that means. I have to teach British values in schools, and that, as we've often found out in these videos, isn't exactly anything brilliant either. It's just a whole lot of nice, warm words. But if you honestly think that the reason why people feel less pride in the UK than they did 10 years ago, I might suggest that it might be for some other reasons. I mean, yesterday was also the Grenfell Tower report. And if you want to feel pride in your country, well, I'm sure you can look at those findings, because they do present us with a litany of failure of the British state in all its manifestations: national government, local government, and British business. We're not really shining at that moment. Now, do these people want us to suggest that that was somehow a bit like Victorian children up chimneys, one of those things that we have to work our way through? Or should we, maybe, radical idea I know, take those bad bits of history and learn from them, in the sense of not putting people into death traps? But I guess that's just me being a Marxist who hates my country. And I just wanted to share this with you at the end, which I caught my eye on Twitter yesterday, and I thought it was one of those sayings that is very true. This is Foon, who said, "In the UK media, you hear about the left, but not from them, and from the right, but not about them," which neatly sums this up. If you think that people feel less pride in their country, maybe the problem is the way the country's been going. And maybe Matt and Nigel, that doesn't mean brown people. It might just be, drum roll, the economy, stupid. Anyway, do have a lovely... Well, good grief, where's the week going, eh? I seem to have managed to do nothing at all this week. I've had a whole bunch of pupils cancel on me. Such is the nature of my job, eh? Yeah, I know, paid to do nothing. How dreadful. Anyway, do have a lovely one.